Now, this is one of my strongest analysis, sharpest analysis, S.A.L.T, SALT, sharp analysis, very low tech. As you can see the low tech, you barely see my face, and you're really getting that light action over there. As it's like, then it's this fan that you see in the back. We're talking low tech. But part one, Darrell Bevan. Why do I want to talk about Darrell Bevan? Because he is the most creative offensive coordinator of our time. Darrell Bevan? Yes, I will tell you why. Because we have had the phenomena of the athletic quarterback. We now get quarterbacks that come out that are really good runners and have good quarterback ability. And Russell Wilson is one of them. You got guys like now they're coming out, Teddy Bridgewater. You got on Buffalo, Tyrod Taylor has been doing a very good job in Buffalo. A few years ago, a guy named Colin Kaepernick for the 49ers. Let's limit to those four. So here is my point, and you don't hear anybody saying it, but Darrell Bevan is responsible for why we talk about Russell Wilson being that good. Now, I am not saying that Russell Wilson is a bad quarterback. Russell Wilson is a very good quarterback. But it is his system that he uses, that offensive system that he uses, that makes Russell Wilson flourish and become the very good, excellent quarterback that we see. And that is, he uses Russell Wilson's legs properly along with his quarterback ability. Run option. First of all, he gets Russell Wilson 30 to 40 yards a game just on run option. Fake handoff, he runs around the right, gets 8 yards here, 7 yards there, slide, 40 yards. Who can't use on their offense 43 yards? Made easy by the fact that they're going to go after Lynch, of course. So Seattle has a good running game, and it's very easy for Russell Wilson to fake that on a few occasions per game, get himself between 30 to 50 yards per game. That's a bonus yards for an offense. That translates into points. But then more importantly is that he puts Russell Wilson in space. And let me explain what that means and what advantages it offers. He very often will not just roll out Russell Wilson, but on the fake handoff, he'll drop him back into an area where there is no offensive lineman in front of him blocking. It means he's out in space. Now, the play was misdirection or designed in such a way that he'll have enough time to find an open receiver, the normal amount of time. But there's nobody blocking, so now when the defense comes at him, when whoever is rushing comes at him, Russell Wilson, if he doesn't find open receiver, again, he doesn't have a blocker in front of him, but he has to elude that rusher. Russell Wilson is athletic enough to elude that rusher very easily. And then when he eludes the rusher, he now has a couple of extra seconds to find a receiver. In the NFL, when a receiver has more than 3, 4, 5 seconds to get open, he's going to get open. There is nobody that can, I don't care if you're Deion Sanders, Darrell Revis, who cares who's covering. You cannot cover a receiver that long. Somebody's going to be open. Russell Wilson is good enough to find an open receiver. Now, again, you're going to tell me that he's overrated. You're going to tell me that I'm underrating him. You're going to tell me that I'm underrating him. I am not underrating him. I am telling you that he is a good quarterback. He has very good accuracy. I never said he does not have I never said he has bad accuracy. He has good accuracy. But again, the way he's being used, he is going to be finding more open receivers than the other ones. And let's talk about the other ones now. Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is being used by North Turner in the pocket. He's not using read option. But I think I called it run option before. Read option. Teddy Bridgewater is being used in the pocket. So we don't get the advantages. He happens to be pretty good. And Teddy Bridgewater is doing well. But he could be used, how much more he would get out of Taylor if you can get 30 to 50 yards of running and get him in open area, and he's athletic enough to avoid the rush, and he'll find open receivers. He'd even be that much better. And by the way, from the pocket, Teddy Bridgewater, since he's young, gets sacked a little bit too often. It takes a few years to develop the ability from the pocket to know when to pull it down and run, see when the rush is coming and avoid that, and then, or to step up in the pocket, or to step right, or to step left in the pocket. That takes years to develop. Teddy Bridgewater's had trouble there. He's getting sacked a little bit more often. By the way, Russell Wilson was getting sacked more often also early in this year because their offensive line was not doing that well. And Darrell Bevan is beginning to use Russell Wilson a little bit too much from the pocket lately, saying, over the years we've been getting him better and better. Now we can maybe leave him in the pocket more. Well, it remains to be seen whether Russell Wilson can be a purely pocket passer. And while we're on that, Russell Wilson was used from the pocket over his first 4 years. Just not as often. He wasn't a pure pocket passer. Darrell Bevan correctly, wisely would choose situations where he could put him in the pocket. Off play action, off of plays where you think Marshall Lynch is getting the ball. Drop him back sometimes more steps, like 7-step drop. Like that fake handoff on the stretch play where Russell Wilson's then standing there for a few extra seconds and can then hit the deep ball. So even when he puts him in the pocket, he wisely puts him in the pocket, Darrell Bevan. And from there, again, if he has time, Russell Wilson's good enough to hit his receivers. We go to Colin Kaepernick. I want to go to him next because Colin Kaepernick, when he came in the league, why am I bringing up Colin Kaepernick? He's not even starting anymore. Right now he's almost ready that he might not have a job anymore for any team. Who's going to want him? Well, if Darrell Bevan would have had him, we'd be talking about Kaepernick the same way that we're talking about Russell Wilson now. Yes, I can boldly say that. I would boldly say that because Kaepernick, when using read option, his first year was very good. And he would get those yards that I said as a running quarterback. He would have extra time. And when he has extra time, even Colin Kaepernick can hit. We know he has a strong arm, but people don't realize that when the receiver's open and he has time, he's pretty, I wouldn't say as accurate as Russell Wilson, but he'll hit the receiver if they're open. Then, for some reason, second, third, next year, let's use him in the pocket. All of a sudden, they decided Colin Kaepernick's a pocket passer. Right? Greg Roman decided he's going to use him from the pocket. And what did we get? We got Kaepernick, first of all, doesn't have good pocket presence. He starts to stretch out. He gets blindsided. He gets sacked more and is not as accurate from the pocket as a pure pocket passer. His career went spiraling down. And now Greg Roman goes over to Buffalo and does the same thing with Tyrod Taylor. Well, but he's got 70% percentage. He's been doing great in his first year. Again, but why not use him better the way Darrell Bevill used? He's the only guy in the league that uses the athletic quarterback correctly. That is the Seattle offensive coordinator. Part 1 about Darrell Bevan. If I'm even pronouncing his name right. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. And that's our part 1 about the greatness of Darrell Bevan. Oh, part 2 is going to be how he made the worst call in Super Bowl history. Because we have 50 days. And right now, when I'm doing this, is about 50 days till Super Bowl 50. And I'm going to be talking about a different Super Bowl each time now over the next 50 days. I don't know if I'll do one a day, but we're gonna try to get as many as we can in. And the first one we're going to do is Darrell Bevan. Worst call in Super Bowl history. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but we got to go through exactly why. And that's our next version. That's going to be our next S.A.L.T production.